roll call. Let me share my screen.
We might want to wait just a couple minutes so people can get back in.
Okay. I'm going to start at 5:51. I'll just give it one more minute. All right, so like I said, sorry about that delay. I hope everyone had a good spring break, and we can go ahead and get ready with roll call. Representative Bonifer. Representative Ramos.
Here.
Representative Pudell. Representative Seaton. Representative Merrick.
Here.
Representative Sackrider. Representative Higgins. Representative Jacob.
Here.
Representative Cavan. Representative Garneau.
Here.
Representative Tatai, sorry. Representative Raymakers.
Here.
Representative Galan. Representative Robinson.
Here.
Representative Garreton.
Here.
Representative Maj. Representative Bisa. Representative Natich. Representative Rogers. Representative Avila.
Here.
Representative Pruitt.
Here.
Representative Jackson. Representative Boswell. Representative Whitfield.
Here.
Representative Williams. Representative Rozovsky.
Here.
Representative Chirillo.
Here.
Representative Pikelner.
Here.
Representative Paddock.
Here.
Representative Flores.
Here.
Representative Obermeyer. Representative Relko. Representative Diaz-Rodas. Representative Robinson. Representative Hayes.
Here.
Representative Horiski, Representative Relko, that one was already up there. Representative Collins, Representative Rucroft.
Here.
All right. And we do have a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and share the agenda.
Just quickly shouting out that there's quite a few representatives who said they were present in chat.
I was updating it as they were saying it.
All right, so I want to get started and entertain a motion to make some changes to the agenda. We did want to add an election update, revised bylaws, as well as a university equipment bill.
Motion to change the agenda.
Second.
Looks like we might have lost her, so give her 1 second. I could pull up.
I'm back in, but yeah, I got lost for a second. Did anyone make a motion to amend the agenda?
Yes, I did.
And is there a second in consent?
Second.
Second.
And is there consent?
Consent.
All right, so we can make these amendments. And then I will now entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
And is there consent?
Consent.
Send.
And any opposition? Hearing none, seeing none, I would now entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Consent.
And is there any opposition? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we can go ahead and get started with Chief Justice Ashley Putnam Murray is going to be talking about positions open with the Office of Student Engagements.
Hi guys. Like Shana said before, like Speaker Cosmic said, I am here to speak more about Office of Student Transitions. Do I have permissions to share my screen again?
You should.
All right. So, like I said, I'm here with the Office of Student Transitions. I am an assistant program manager this year for the Office of Student Transitions. I keep saying that like a million times. But so kind of what my job is like I'm just coming here today to just talk to you about some of the opportunities that we have for like applications for students, for students to kind of help out with helping first year students. So let's get started. So Office of Student Transition is kind of divided into 4 things: orientation, first year experience, fall welcome, and peer-to-peer. So in case if you don't know what Office of Student Transition is, it's dedicated to ensuring that students that are coming into Western are as prepared as possible to start their career at this university off to a good start. I mentioned the 4 programs earlier. We are currently accepting applications for first year experience co-facilitators, Fall Welcome Ambassador, and peer-to-peer e-mentor positions. The first one is first year experience. If you don't know what FYE is, it is a 2-credit course for first year students that help them get introduced to college at WMU. It is for undergraduate WMU students, and it consists of a fall welcome co-facilitator that helps assist first year students with their transition, as long as you will also be working with a primary instructor who is a faculty member here at Western. So what the job is you will work the entirety of fall semester, and it is a paid position where you will turn in timesheets recording the hours that you work each week. So some of the responsibilities is to serve as a leader and a positive role model for all first year students, attend the class as a co-facilitator for each session, as well as serve as a fall welcome ambassador and attending all the fall welcome events, which is an awesome opportunity and it's fun. So you get to relive fall welcoming. You went there already a freshman here, or get to experience for the first time. So some of the qualifications is the ability to work independently and in groups. You will be having like one-on-one sessions with these students, as well as doing a huge group session with these students. So being able to do both is really important. Demonstrate a desire to work with first year students. If you're the type of person that loves to help first year students and be like a kind of a advisor or a mentor to them, this is a great opportunity to be able to do that. Must be cooperative, reliable, dependable, and responsible. So next one is Fall Welcome. So this is a transitional program that is designed to build connections for first year students and the Western community. Fall Welcome Ambassadors are assigned a small group of first year students to lead through planned activities for the week. So what the job details for this one is you would attend online training during the summer, kind of learning how to be a Fall Welcome ambassador, you know, how to deal with everything, how to lead a group, any other things that might entail to helping you be a better ambassador. Training before Welcome Week and the entirety of Fall Welcome, which is 5 days. This is a volunteer position though, it's not paid, but you get a lot of WMU gifts and a bookstore gift card. So if you're the type of person like me that likes to save money on books because they're expensive, this is the perfect opportunity to be able to do that. So some of the responsibilities is to facilitate a small group of first year students, encourage positive student interactions, foster the development of WMU pride, attend ambassador training, and participate in all Fall Welcome events. That sounds like a lot of fun in my opinion. It's super fun. So some of the qualifications is the ability to work as a productive and engaging team member. You are working with other Fall Welcome ambassadors, as well as encouraging your students to participate in Fall Welcome, which can be kind of hard if they're kind of shy. So that kind of, you know, uses your persuasion skills a little bit. Must be available to participate in all training sessions and for the entirety of the week. If you have anything that might be going on during training or during something, you can always talk to the people who are interviewing you, and we can keep that consideration. We are very flexible, so please don't let that hinder you from applying. Please apply. However, you can't be an RA or a Bronco Buddy because they do have a lot of conflicting things during Fall Welcome that would hinder you from being able to fill your role as an ambassador. And our last program is peer-to-peer. It's an e-mentoring program for new students. As an e-mentor, you are going to get a list of first year and transfer students to communicate with. They can select to either receive text or emails, which means you would send updates, text individually, and communicate with those students 2 or 3 times per month, as well as sending any personal communications along with a newsletter throughout the month. This one has a little bit more of a time commitment. It is a full academic year, however, you are getting paid. So that's a plus side. This one has a little bit more responsibilities because you are assigned a bunch of students to help them transition to college life smoothly, and you're not like having another like a faculty member like you would in FYE, and it's not only for a week. You're kind of helping them with, you know, various services, including locating resources and communicating via email and text using Salesforce, which you will get trained on. It's very easy and very simple to use. Some of the qualifications, obviously you have to be a student at WMU and effective communication skills. So if you're the type of person that's really good at keeping up with communication, like emailing and texting, this is something that's definitely for you. But if you're also a person that's looking to develop those skills, I highly encourage to apply too. How to apply? If you're interested in applying for any of these, the application is currently open on the ST website. So the interview process this year is all of them are individual interviews. Fall welcome is usually a group interview, but due to COVID, we're kind of keeping it as an individual interview and not a group interview because a lot of people might not be comfortable with that. So if you're worried about doing group interviews, not a big deal. We're not doing that this year. Please make sure to follow some social media to stay up to date with info and reminders. We are holding other info sessions throughout this month. So please, if there are any other questions that I may not have answered, please feel free to go to those nights and ask those my other assistant program managers tons of questions. They will be able to assist you also. But any other questions? No questions? Okay, I guess if there's no questions, I yield my time then.
All right, thank you. With that, we can move forward and go into communications. Let me put the agenda back up for everyone to see. Colin is gonna kick it off and talk about the withdrawal form and show you guys how to fill it out if you are gonna be removing yourself from the house. And then he'll just walk you through those steps, and then we'll have everyone take a couple minutes to fill it out.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen really quick. Let's see if Shayna, can you unshare your screen real quick, please?
My bad.
All right, make sure I picked the right one. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this. There we go. Can you, that's obviously the wrong one. Which one can you guys see? Good, that's the right one?
Yep.
All right. I'll move this guy here. So to go with the withdrawal form, you're going to go to wmu.wsa.org, our normal page. You can click on the legislative link and go to About House of Reps. If you guys could, we'd really like you to try to do this right now. If you don't plan on coming back with us next year, if you are switching your RSOs that you're representing, or if you're graduating this spring here. You'll scroll down and we have a nice link, thanks to VP Pool, that says House Member from Withdrawal. You can click this here and it's going to take you to a link for a Google form where you can fill out your name, your email, the RSO you're leaving, and why you're leaving if you'd like to let us know. So I'll submit mine because I'm going to be changing mine anyway. And then if you are changing your RSO you're representing, you go back to the WMU website and you click the House sign up form link like you would have the first time you did it. And then you fill out that as such as well. And then you submit that and I'll get all of your emails in the secretary email. If you guys have any questions about this, please just reach out to me. Pretty simple. But yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome, thanks, Colin. And now we will move on to speaker nominations. So we're gonna do this at the end of the year, I believe. But right now, just be thinking about if you have someone that you want to nominate to be the speaker, or if you want to nominate yourself. We do want to try and reconfirm someone before the summer in case there is a cabinet retreat so that everybody can get to know each other and get involved before the school year starts in the fall. So just keep in mind if you have anybody that you want to nominate or if you want to nominate yourself. If you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or Secretary Holzberger, I'm sure as well, or honestly anyone on cabinet. And then moving on to the Social Justice Fund donor request. So if you haven't already, please fill out that template that I sent out and try and get a couple donors. We really want everyone to try and reach out to like 5 people and see if you can get some donations for the Social Justice Fund. Yeah, please harass them. Don't actually harass them, but harass them. Try and get as much donations as you can. It's a really great fund and anything can help. I don't know if anyone else wants to add on to that, but you can also add it in the chat. And then I'm moving on to the tuition restructure. I'm going to share my screen with the agenda again, actually. So a couple weeks ago, Provost Bott, Dr. Anderson, and then VP Vanderclay came in and they talked to us about the tuition reconstruction. And they just asked us to get advice from you guys on billing. They want to make it as easy to read as possible for the students at WMU. And basically their main question is if there should be a separate line for differential tuition or if it's just supposed to be one main whole tuition for everyone. So differential tuition is just that added tuition. It's mostly for juniors and seniors. An example of it would be something like in the business college. Once you're in the business college, you pay more money for tuition than you were paying previously. So they just want to know whether they should have a separate line on your bill or if you want tuition to just be put on your bill as a whole. So we just kind of wanted to get some input on that. So if anyone has anything to add, we're open for suggestions. And then if you have anything to say, you can just drop your name in the chat.
Speaker Krosick, just so you know, I have a poll ready for whenever you would like it.
Okay. Yeah, and as VP Theory said, it does not change how much you're paying. This is just figuring out how they put it on the bill so that it's easier for students and whoever else to read it. And if there's nothing anybody wants to add on, we can go ahead and put that poll up for everyone to vote. And cabinet can vote as well.
If cabinet voted in the last meeting, should we vote again?
That I don't know the answer to.
I would say yes, and if you want to pull the percentage out, you can always do that. There might be some cabinet members here that weren't at the last meeting.
All right, so it looks like the majority of us think that there should be 2 separate lines, one with differential tuition, then one with the standard tuition. So we'll pass that information on. And then I'm now going to hand it over to Vice President Eagle, and she's going to talk about the election update.
All right, thank you, Shayna. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone that I had on my team. Kathy, as my co-chair, did a fantastic job. If you all watched the debates, she moderated the debates and did amazing at that. And just overall, her assistance throughout this whole procedure has been greatly appreciated. So, Kathy, thank you. I would also like to show some appreciation for Ashley, who has also been a great help throughout this whole process. Also is at the debates, moderating, timekeeping. What's the difference? But greatly appreciated. So with that, I can move into announcing the successful senators. We can start with the College of Aviation. We had 2 successful candidates run and be elected into their seats. That would be Megan Higgins and Carly Ness. We can all throw up some virtual claps for them. For the College of Engineering and Applied Science, we had Leslie Gonzalez and Dakota Shapiro both be successful in their runs. For the Hayworth College of Business, we had Anna Griggs and Charles Poole as the 2 successful candidates. For the University College, we had Brian Taylor as the successful candidate. And for the Lee Honors College, we had Alicia Ewing as the successful candidate. So that leaves several open seats open. And overall, congratulations to everyone that is freshly elected. For those of you that maybe missed the deadline to submit your intent to run, like I just mentioned, there are several seats still open. The College of Arts and Science still has 2 open seats. The College of Education and Human Development still has 2 open seats. The College of Fine Arts has open seats, as well as the College of Health and Human Services. So, and then there are also at-large seats if you want to be a senator but don't want to represent a college. So you still have options to get involved with Senate. In terms of an election update for the presidential election, we had a total of 494 votes. We had a winning slate with 263 votes, and the second slate received 230 votes. However, the EPC and the Judicial Council have not been able to certify the election results at this time because there are several outstanding demerits and appeals for those demerits that are working their way through the Judicial Council. For those of you who aren't super familiar with the EPC, once a campaign slate receives 3 demerits, they are disqualified from the election. So since we are on the brink of that situation, we have not been able to certify the results. We are hoping that they will be certified soon, within the week. However, I do not have a specific deadline or timeline that I can give you, just that the Judicial Council is working on this, and there should, at some point, hopefully within the next week, there will be an update that I can bring you with your newly elected WSA president and vice president. With that, I will yield my time back to you, Shayna.
It looks like we lost Shayna again. So before we let VP Eagle leave, I would like to open it up for some Q&A. If anyone has any questions for her about Senate seats, if you'd like to, I know a question in the Senate was during the Senate meeting, someone asked, how do you apply to be a senator after the election has already gone through? So if Ruby, that could be a question to answer real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So as our Constitution currently stands, the first meeting of the fall semester for next year will be the time when those seats can be filled. They'll be voted in by the House. So if there are seats that you are interested in and you just missed the deadline to apply and run a campaign, I'm sure, I think that like the speaker would send out an email or you would email the speaker. I'm trying to think of how Ben handled this last summer, but confirmations would occur the first meeting of the fall semester.
Thank you, thank you. And with that, I'll give it back to Speaker Krosick.
Thank you. Sorry about my Wi-Fi. It's been terrible today. If there's no other questions on this topic, we can go ahead and move forward.
We do have a question in the chat, or someone who'd like to speak.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I don't really know a lot about like the EPC. So like what exactly does that process look like? Because I know like we don't have a timeline, but like I just want to know like what are next steps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I can't really shed too much light on that due to confidentiality of the slates involved, but it is working its way through the Judicial Council right now. So unfortunately, that is the best answer that I have for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then like when, like I know like we were hoping within the week, like should we be looking like, where should we be looking to receive those results?
Yeah, so typically the results are announced at a legislative session like this. So I would have just announced who the successful slate was. So next week, if all of this is solved, next week it will be announced at the WSA legislative meetings.
Cool, thanks. I have one more question. I'm so sorry. Final question. So like in the terms of like the outcome, I understand like best case scenario, it's within like the week. Like what's like the worst case scenario look like, if I'm allowed to know / ask
that? Worst case scenario, I am not sure. Chris, you've been here longer than me. If you're here, you could chime in on that. And to answer your question, Jacoby, after it's announced at Senate next week, it would be published to our social media. So that is how the House would find out. And we could also put it in our Slack channels. Once it's announced in a meeting, it can be spread anywhere. It just has to be kept confidential until it's announced in a meeting.
Yeah, that's a good question, Sarah, about what is the worst case scenario. This is unprecedented because we usually do have it wrapped up by now. So that's kind of my hesitation and pause and thinking about it, of like really like leaning into your question of what would that be. There's some historical context where if the Judicial Council decides not to certify the election, then it would come to the legislative body. That has historically happened in the past where they were like, nobody wins. And so that would be the worst case scenario because we only have like a couple weeks left before the end of the semester. And so that would push us back as an organization because whoever is a successful candidate, they need time to get their cabinet selected and going through it, confirmations and different things like that. So we as an organization are pretty large. So we're this big ship and it's hard to pivot and move. So so that would keep me up at night. I guess maybe that's the way I would answer it is that we are pushed back another week because it would have to, the Judicial Council says nobody wins. We're going to send it to the legislature. So that would be my response. Does that help, Sarah?
No, that actually helps a lot. Thank you so much, Ruby and Chris. I really appreciate the transparency and the answers. Thank you.
Secretary Holzberger.
Hey, VP Eagle. I'm very proud of the EPC and everything you guys have done. Like, amazing job. This has been such a crazy, unprecedented year for an election, and you guys have done amazing. I loved watching the debates. my question would be, I don't know if this is like a good way to ask it, but what is like taking so much time? I don't know if you can even answer that. Like, what are we waiting on besides you probably can't answer that, sorry.
I am not a part of the Judicial Council, so I do not know their internal workings and any of that. Ashley, I don't know if that has to remain confidential right now, but
Can I pass that on?
I can give you a little bit of context. My judges and my associate justices and I did take a break for spring break to give them a break since they were on pretty much everything. They were pretty much on call all the week of election, and so they had reached out to me and said they just need a break. That's what I can give you right now. I can't give you anything else, like the process of what we've been doing, but I can say the reason why it's taking a little longer is because we did choose to go on a little bit of a break during.
Thank you for that answer. And I would like to echo my thank you to the EPC, to you guys too. You guys have been working awesome and really putting in the hours. So thank you.
And Vice President Morris, you can go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to ask the same question that I asked at the last meeting because I thought the answer would be relevant to this group as well. With the demerits, where are they like accessible once the decisions have been made? Like where can the students access those?
yep, all of those will be published to, they all get sent, the Judicial Council sends their decision to me and they forward it to our Vice President for IT, and then I make a graphic and send it along to our Vice President for PR to be posted to our website and to our social media.
All right. And are there any other questions? It looks like there's one in the chat. I don't know if that already got answered. It says, will disqualifications be announced all at once, or will that announcement be made at the legislative session?
If a disqualification occurs, this is unprecedented territory. The Judicial Council and our Chief Justice, they have the power to disqualify candidates. So they are working through that with our former Chief Justice from last year. So we don't really have an answer to that, Alex.
And Representative Pruitt, you can go ahead and ask your question.
So my question real quick is, if a slate does get disqualified, will all their demerits be made public to the House and the Senate so that we can see what both slates got demerits for?
Yes, all demerits would be made public on our website and on our social media.
Okay, thanks.
And Chloe Miller asked, do you know when all the demerits will be released?
I do not. Chloe, I got your email earlier. Only one demerit is on the website because only one demerit has gone through the appeal process. So we still have X amount of numbers of demerits going through the process that have not gone through the process yet. Once they do go through that process, though, they'll be released. Sorry.
All right. And are there any other questions for Vice President Eagle? Okay. Hearing none and seeing none, we can go ahead and move forward with the agenda. I'll share my screen again. We're just going to move forward onto unfinished business. Vice President Lance is going to talk about the revised bylaws, and we're going to vote on them.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Oh, I was up so soon. Let me get this pulled up. All right, cool. What's up, guys? Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So we have sorry, my bird in the background. We have a couple edits. It was brought to my attention that the bylaws were not reflective of a bicameral legislature system. So I went through and made some edits to reflect those changes. And then also I noticed in the process that the website wasn't updated since we updated our website this year. So it's basically just those changes. It's not like anything procedural, that really needs to be deliberated upon. It's just changing the website and changing, reflecting a bicameral legislature. So I have, we can just scroll through here. I made all the, comments where I had edits. So there's some more. And I think this got sent out to you a couple weeks ago too. So there's another one. And then some last ones about the website. One more about the website. The only really thing that I would need, that I may want to bring to your attention, is that this part about committee members being confirmed, I wanted to change so that they were confirmed within their respective house instead of having to go through both the Senate and the House, because I feel like that's really, really inefficient. So if if you're in the House, you'll be confirmed to the committee through the House, and if you're in the Senate, through the Senate. And then since we have cab members on the committee as well, the two cab positions will be confirmed just through the Senate. So that's it. Those are the only changes really. And then yeah, I think we can move into a discussion. Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions for Vice President Lance? Okay, if there's no questions, we can go ahead and move into discussion. And if there's no discussion, we can go ahead and vote on this. It does not involve money, so we can go ahead and call consent.
Consent.
Second.
And is there any opposition? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we can approve these changes to the bylaws. And
Awesome,
then,
thanks, guys.
Thank you. We can go ahead and move forward onto new business now. And the first thing we have in new business is the menstrual tax resolution. So Vice President Barada is going to walk us through that a little bit.
Hi, everyone. So this will be pretty brief. You should have all received this legislation. It's pretty straightforward. But essentially, I was reached out to by my counterpart at within the Associated Students of Michigan State University, so that's their student government, and they created this resolution in support of the bills in both the State House and the State Senate, which are pushing to remove the sales tax on menstrual hygiene products. So the bill essentially, or this resolution essentially just outlines some details about the taxes on menstrual hygiene products and how they obviously make these things more expensive, including the fact that typically $6.9 million a year in Michigan are spent on these taxes alone. So that's not including the price of the actual product, which anyone who's purchased them knows that they can be kind of an expensive product to purchase. Essentially, this is just a bill voicing our support along with other universities across the state of Michigan. We did make some amendments to it in the Senate meeting just to clarify that we are not endorsing all of Governor Whitmer's proposed budget, but only the pieces which directly refer to the elimination of this sales and use tax. I think that's pretty much it, unless anyone has any questions. Yeah, I did not write this bill, so we are welcome to make any edits to it that you guys see fit. But we just wanted to bring this forward. My committee members worked with me on this. I don't think either of them are in this meeting. But we actually sat down with Michigan State student government on Zoom, so it was cool to get to collaborate with them. And this is an initiative, not this specific issue, but issues relating to menstrual product access have been things that we've worked on in WSA before. So we felt like this was going to be an opportunity to take that beyond just our campus and work with other universities to advocate across the whole state. But Chris said he has a question, so I welcome it.
Do I have the floor?
Yes, you're good.
Emma, do you, just as a technical piece, do you want to talk about the change that was made in the Senate?
Yeah, I thought I mentioned it, but the very last line where it says resolved, so this will be different than what you all received in your email. We just changed it to say, including but not limited to, specifically pages C5 and C8 of Governor Whitmer's proposed 2022 fiscal year budget, which mandates the elimination of all sales and use tax on menstrual hygiene products in the state of Michigan. So we just added that edit just to clarify that we weren't going to endorse the governor's entire budget, but just those specific areas which refer to this issue. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I do have a comment, if that's okay. So this was something that I was a little bit confused on, and I wanted to clarify for anyone else that might be confused after I was reading through the bill. So essentially, this is saying that these products would not be taxed. So they would be essentially like food and I don't know, medical equipment and you know, going to the doctor and things like that, all do not have tax. So essentially, you know, in other states, there is an extra luxury tax on top of regular sales tax, but this is just saying whatever price is on the sticker is what someone would pay.
Is there any other discussion on this? All right, seeing none, we can go ahead and put this to a vote.
If I'm not mistaken, consent can be called because it does not deal with money, correct?
Consent.
Consent can be called. And is there any opposition? Seeing none, we can consider this bill or resolution approved. And we can now move forward with the agenda, and we're going to be moving on to the climate resolution. So Vice President Spayman, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So I know I'm a bit unfamiliar as of now because I have not been able to attend any meetings this semester. I normally have class, but I was able to get some permission to be here today. This resolution was crafted more to set expectations moving forward for students onto WMU and what we want to see in the future. Many of you are aware of this resolution and are likely co-sponsors. It currently has over 100 co-sponsors that are on a separate document because it would have gunked this one up too much. But this resolution was drafted after the Student Sustainability Summit, which probably many of you did attend, which was put on by WSA and the Office for Sustainability. And that event had about 80 participants on a Saturday, which was pretty awesome. And these participants helped us write and properly voice the opinions and concerns of students into this resolution. And we held one more public event after that to make sure that students could see the draft that we had and have an opportunity to provide any more feedback and make sure that this was specifically tailored to what they were telling us the first time. So, as I said in the Senate, I really cannot emphasize enough that this resolution was written by and for students. But as you may have read in the background, you have to also note that climate action and environmental stewardship is not a new thing at WMU, and it came long before this resolution. We had one of the first environmental studies programs in the state of Michigan, which was established in 1972. We have a climate action plan that was written in 2012, and that climate action plan wrote into it that we need to be carbon neutral by 2065. And a lot of why we are where we are right now is because we have agreed as an organization that 2065 is too late. We set that as one of our goals to begin with. So this resolution only further implores WMU to enact a comprehensive plan to address climate change, which encompasses current and future students at WMU. Before we get into the discussion, I just want to highlight the major points of this resolution that are that our current date does not align with the scientific consensus and needs to be lowered. That's why we picked 2030 instead of what we had already said, which was 2040, because 2030 even more closely aligns with what scientists are telling us. That this resolution further implores that WMU prioritize their current climate commitments, that the administration make clear statements and endorsements for urgent climate action, that there is the highest level of transparency and accessibility on climate action at WMU in the future, and that students are permanently involved in these discussions. And that is all I have.
Are there any questions? Representative Rosowski, you have the floor.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to emphasize that there is nothing more important than this. This is, our generational crisis. I fully support this resolution, and I think that everybody else should as well.
All right, and is there any other discussion regarding this? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we can go ahead and put this to a vote.
Consent.
And is there any opposition? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we can consider this passed. And we can now move on to our last bill, which I'm now realizing should have been under unfinished business. So I would now entertain a motion to move this to unfinished business on the agenda.
I make a motion to move the bill whose name I can't remember to unfinished business on the agenda.
Second.
Consent.
Any opposition? Okay, so I will now hand the floor over to Vice President Morris. You can go ahead and talk about the university equipment bill.
Fantastic. Are you pulling it up or would you like me to?
I'll pull it up.
Okay, thank you. So the bill that went into read only before break, maybe you remember it, maybe you don't, was dealing with buying $6,000 worth of audio equipment for outdoor usage for any RSO on campus. So currently the Bernhard Center does not offer audio equipment that can be utilized outside for organizations. They do have indoor and it is quite expensive. But as we look forward to what the future or the speculated future of what RSOs might look like on campus in the fall, we have kind of suspected, and the COVID-19 task force has suspected, that we'll have outdoor gatherings. The university is looking into purchasing or renting another big tent like was in front of Sangren Hall this past fall, so organizations can meet safely. So we thought that it would be pretty essential for students to be able to hear each other if they're meeting outside, especially bigger organizations, or if they're hosting events of any size. So with that being said, we are proposing that the Vice President for University Pride's budget, aka my budget, be utilized to purchase said audio equipment. And then the equipment will be maintained through the Bernhard Center in terms of the rental process. But like as I mentioned before in the title of the bill and before previously, it is free for organizations. So a lot of organizations outside of some of the bigger ones on campus don't have audio equipment of their own. And when they do, it's quite costly. So organizations are already coming to us, they're already coming to CAB for renting them from outdoor vendors. As I said before, the Bernhard Center doesn't offer it. So this would really streamline some processes as well as making sure that student money stays student money. So with that being said, I will see if anybody has any questions.
Representative Pruitt, you can go ahead.
I think I'm going to make a statement and then I'm going to ask a question. I think this is a great thing because I'm an RSOs that have tried to do outdoor events and it's impossible without audio equipment. So my one question though is there are a lot of RSOs that don't have the knowledge of how to set up this audio equipment. And so is there somebody that will help with that from the Bernhard Center or how is that meant to be taken care of?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Bernhard Center will handle it. I will say the audio equipment itself, we've already identified what we want to purchase. It's pretty easy. It's just a tripod and then there's a switch on the back to be able to turn the speaker on and off, and it has Bluetooth capability. So it is fairly user-friendly for anyone that traditionally uses like a normal size stereo. They're just bigger. They're also pretty light as well, so we don't necessarily have to worry about purchasing a cart to be able to tote these around campus either. Does that answer your question?
Yep, thanks.
Yep.
Are there, Representative Horakowski?
Yes, hi. Will that be any cost to rent the equipment for the RSLs, or you just like request it?
Yep, so the rental process is still being ironed out with the Bernhard Center, but essentially any student organization member will be able to rent it with their own Bronco ID. They'll swipe it, and then if the equipment goes missing or is damaged, then the charges will be done that way. But unless it's damaged or goes missing, there will be no charges assessed to any. It's free of use for any student.
Representative Obermeyer, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. I had a quick question. So how is this going to be advertised to make sure it's accessible to all RSOs? Because I know like all RSOs kind of like do like either like Instagram or Experience. So like how is it going to be accessible to everyone?
Yeah, great question. So we were looking to do some promotion specifically through the Office of Student Engagement, making sure that they understand how this resource can be utilized so that advisors can kind of push it through the information tunnel. WSA would like to do their own advertisements for it as well. Yeah, that's kind of like the start of it. Eventually, we would like also to incorporate it into the allocations processes from CAB and WSA and be like, hey, here's like this resource. If you didn't know about it, like go check it out.
Super smart. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions for Vice President Morris? All right, if there's no questions, we can go ahead and move into discussion. And if there's no discussion, we can go ahead and put this to a vote.
Can't consent even be called on this since it doesn't use our money, but it uses a different type of money?
No, it deals with our money.
Okay, we can go ahead and put this to a vote once we get the poll pulled up.
It looks like Eric dipped, so I don't know who's setting up the poll.
Oh, okay.
I believe Jacoby was made the host.
News to me. Say bye.
I think I just put one up.
Look at that. We have a very competent speaker. I don't even know why my name was said. I
Let's
should.
make her host.
I'll see my way out.
All right, so it does look like it was passed with a vote of 16 to 1 to 0.
Point of order. Was that enough votes to satisfy quorum?
Oh, no, it definitely, let me look. No, it wasn't. We need 4 more people to vote. So should I just re-put the poll out?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Looks like we still need 6 people to vote. I'll give it a couple more seconds. I'm still waiting on like 3 more votes.
Speaker Krozik, were you able to vote?
I just got to 21 actually, but yes. I couldn't vote because I put it out, but it's at 21 now. All right, so this did pass 20 to 1 to 0. And we can go ahead and move on with the agenda. And that is just going to be our announcements. So we can just move on to 30-second shout outs. If anyone has any, you can drop it in the chat. Representative Obermeyer.
Hi, everyone. So the Campus Activities Board, we have special election nominations, which are next week. And so what is going to happen is we have our special events coordinator, our cultural coordinator, as well as our comedy coordinator. You are able to be nominated for those and then join our executive board. It's a paid position like WSA. So if you're interested in that, show up to our General Assembly meeting on Microsoft Teams at 8:30 next week, Monday, if you're interested in being nominated or learning more info.
And then just in case no one saw it, Secretary Holzberger asked that you just drop a blurb in the chat if you have a 30-second shout out, just so we can get it in the minutes. And then I'm just gonna shout out, vote on the poll that I put into my email I sent out for the end of the year awards. If you haven't already, we have ties we need to break, so please vote on that. And then also please reach out to donors. Like I said earlier, we really want to get as much donations as possible for the Social Justice Fund. And that's all I have for my 30-second shout outs. But if anyone else has any, please feel free to put it in the chat. And if you get the chance, please read what Vice President Poole just dropped into the chat about Giving Day that's coming up really soon. I'll also be sending that in an email or in a Slack chat later. And if there's no more 30-second shout outs, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I had a quick shout out. I'm looking for personal videos for the Kalamazoo Earth Week. I'll put my email in the chat if anybody wants to share their personal story about why the environment is important to them. Be helpful to have this Earth Week event. Thank you.
I have another shout out if I can do so. The Aviation Student Council is hosting an aviation mental health town hall event on Wednesday, April 14th at 2 p.m. Details will be put in Experience WMU. So if you guys are interested in how mental health and aviation goes together, that is all online for your information.
Vice President Morris, you can go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And if we get out in time, International Fest is going to be going on for 30 more minutes. Your Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion has been working really hard on it. So it'd be really cool if you all could go out and support.
Okay, if there's no more 30-second shout outs, I now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting at 6:56 p.m.
Second.
Consent.
Second.
Bye, guys. Love y'all.
Bye.